Hey y'all, welcome back to the garden. I just love being in the garden with you. We are approaching the end of May here in Zone 5 in Illinois. There are things coming up, there are things dying off, and today we are going to do a little bit of pruning. It's good to do that, it's good to check in, and well-timed pruning helps the plant, the vegetables and fruiting plants to produce a better, bigger, healthier harvest. We're not pruning the beets today. I just wanted to really start here because this is so exciting. This is the first time I'm ever doing beets, so I wanted to start here and sit with them. I love beets, I really do. I'm gonna have to thin them out, so I suppose a little pruning and thinning is a good idea. Here's a little tip. You can thin out these things like beets, and I did it with the radishes, and you can eat them right away as a little microgreen. Whoa. Little tiny baby beet greens are a little bitter. I like that. It's not my favorite though. Radishes are great. Radish babies are spicy and very fresh. These are a little more earthy and grassy. But the timing of things, right? And the timing of things, it's important. So the timing of pruning the garden, pruning a plant is really important. In the garden here, we're going to prune some things because you need to cut the dead part of the flower off, dead part of the plant off, so that the important essential nutrients and life force moving through that plant doesn't spill out through that dead part of the plant, isn't wasted on the plant trying to revive that dead part. The timing of things. I want to start with the story in the Bible of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. This was really this was such an awakener for me when I was able to make sense of that story and how it applies to my life. I found the metaphor, and then the symbolism, and then I was able to apply it to the rest of my life in a very practical, reusable way, reapplicable way. Gold beets too, they're not doing as well. So let's start here. We're going to pick up some of these blades of grass, weeding and pruning, starting here. So in the Bible, the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, they were instructed clearly by God, do not eat from the tree of knowledge. And I remember the first several times, let's try this golden beet. So you can see here the golden beet root. Can we see it? Come on. The golden beet root is gold. And then this root expands into a big, fat, delicious beet. The purple beet, obviously, the root was purple. Let's see how this one tastes. Oh, that's even worse than the purple beet. But it does taste like a beet. It's just an undone beet. All right. Beet microgreens are not my favorite. But back to the story of Adam and Eve. And reading that story, I did not understand it as I do now, and it really offended me. God doesn't want us to know what He knows. Do not eat from the tree of knowledge. And of course, the serpent comes in, and there's metaphor in that. We won't go there, but the serpent comes in and sort of lays that perspective down. God doesn't want you to know what He knows. We can tell stories from certain perspectives, right? And it actually changes the whole story. We see that in our political view, the views of the political stage, right? You can say anything in any way and people will be like, oh yeah, yeah. And so I was not equipped with the knowledge. I was not evolved enough internally to understand what that story was telling me. And now I do, and I'd like to share that with you. And while we're doing that, we're going to prune the dead flower heads off of these little strawberry buckets. Let's get a good angle of you. This bucket, she's got some green berries coming, that's happy, but she's not doing as good as this one. Maybe it has something to do with the sun. So Adam and Eve were instructed to not eat from the from the tree of knowledge. It was presented to them that by the serpent that was trickery from God. That was somehow unjust. They were missing out, right? They were tricked. I'm just using these scissors. I lost my pruner somewhere in the garden. So these little strawberry heads, they were flowers, and well, nope, that one's not going to do very well. I don't know. All right, let's just go for the brown ones. Nip them all the way down to the very bottom of their stem, or where you see another sprout coming up. I don't know how these are going to do. Ooh. There is a divine order to things. There is a divine order to the evolution of ourselves. And if you skip parts of that divine order, it disrupts how it should be, right? It creates sin. It creates missing the mark. You take the wrong turn, and so Adam and Eve, i.e. the humans, right? Us humans, God knew that they were less evolved. They weren't ready to know what God knows, and should they be supplied with knowledge that God had. I think I'm going to cut these off. They're really not doing good. I got these from the store, and I think that's why they're struggling. Should they have been somehow awakened to what God knows as good and evil, God's knowledge, they had not gone through the steps, through the required evolution in order for them to fully understand it. And when that happens, there is a disruption, there is dis-ease. We go to a third grader and try to and teach them 8th grade information or something. We might be able to impart some information into their minds, but it will be impractical. It will be missing some of the steps. And so that's the divine timing that we need to respect in life. And the divine timing is actually needs to be applied to everything, and requires our temperance, our willingness to pause and go without, right? To just sort of pause on our exasperation or excitement, right? Let's think of ways we can apply this. First, again, last time, I shared my thoughts on conflict resolution, fighting with a partner, arguing with a partner, disagreeing with a partner is so hard. Oh my gosh, it's so hard on the heart, right? And sometimes when we're in that conflict, we want all the information to be said right now. It needs to be perfect right now. This is just an example, of course. And it can't. We can't have everything right now. We can't. God can. That's what He is. He is everything in the now. And we are inside of a working experience where we need to take the steps one at a time. Sometimes more than one at a time, if you can multitask. That's pretty cool. But divine timing with knowledge and everything else that we want to have in life. Divine timing is what's required for things to grow. We need to be babies. We need to be ignorant. We need to walk from not knowing to knowing with the respect and the patience that is required for growth. Like a baby learning to walk, we do not impose upon them the requirement to run, though we've seen that, right? That is the intrinsic desire within us. We want to have it all, right? So let's forgive ourselves, right? Let's forgive ourselves for missing the mark in that way, for missing the opportunity to approach something with patience when we do, because we will. Let's forgive ourselves and come on back to it, because there's an element of truth to that. When we want the whole picture right now, right, we're actually remembering. We're remembering that's inside of us because it's a truth. It's not just exasperation and ignorance. There's a truth that we once were capable of everything all at once. And right now we're just not. If you are a human, you are not capable of everything all at once, and neither is anyone else. So when you go to your phone carrier store or any other customer service, or yourself or your spouse or your children, take a breath. Take it easy. Don't punish yourself and other people because, oh my God, these potatoes. But wait a second. Some sunflower babies. Don't punish the sunflowers for having to grow up slowly out of the ground. Don't punish yourself or others for not having the immediate solution, because it's not about having the immediate solution. That's not why we're here. We are here to garden. We are here to move through the seasons, to taste one thing at a time. All right, let's go check out these potatoes. Oh my God, I can't wait for this. I cannot wait for this potato harvest. My neighbors are just we're gonna go potato crazy here. Maybe when I'm done gardening this season, we'll just get in the kitchen with all this stuff and cook. That'd be fun. Thank you so much for being in the garden with me, going through these really helpful conversations. I hope that they help you. Blessings.